And I would like to welcome Maike Froning on stage, Customer Success and Product Manager at Kordiam. Hello, Maike. Welcome.
Hello.
And in this function, she keeps an overview of all incoming feature requests and coordinates their implementation. And with her presentation, Maike will walk us through how Kordiam is tackling the challenge of increasing editorial complexity while still keeping things easy. So, welcome on stage. It's yours, Maike.
Thanks a lot for the kind introduction. Well, that's exactly what I want to guide you through today. So you have the core challenge, complexity needed for planning, and then is that supposed to be like this? And at the same time, the simplicity needed in everyday's workflows. So I will like to start with some personal impressions, because I'm still pretty new to Kordiam, so I remember my first impressions very well. And when I first started, I actually felt a bit like sitting in front of a giant puzzle, because on the one hand side, I was super fascinated by all the details and the different precisely defined links between all the elements. And at the same time, I was just super overwhelmed by all the details, all the fields, all the different pieces, and I just didn't know where to start and how to get started at all. So I knew once I fit it all together, it would be a very great picture, but I really had to find a way where to start. And actually, it raised a fundamental question for me. This complexity that you encounter at Kordiam, is it actually a good thing or is it a bad thing? And what to do about it? And then I luckily realized that I'm not the only one asking these questions, and that it's basically one of the core challenges for Kordiam and for all of us to kind of, to find a balance between complexity and simplicity, and to tackle this challenge whenever we redesign something or whenever we create a new feature. So we'll now have a closer look at this challenge when it comes to entering a new story. So also there we have the two sides of the coin. We have the editors that want to have ever and ever more. I mean, I don't have to tell you that complexity is ever increasing in newsrooms and in communication departments. So we do have the need for more data and for more comprehensive data, like planning tools. At the same time, we have the reporters and other content creators that just want to enter their data and continue. They just don't want to bother about all the other complexity that's out there. So that's the balancing act that we face. And we have another side condition that we want to consider, is that you want to put all relevant data in the first place, like enter it at the first place, to be able to, or to simplify the handling of the downstream workflows. So it's something we also have to keep in mind. The good news is that we're not choosing one or the other, but we're trying to address both sides of the equation. So on the one hand side, we have been working on redesigning the story card in order to support managing editors to better manage even larger stories. And at the same time, we're working on story templates to make it easier for reporters and other content creators to enter their data, so to reduce complexity for them. So let's have a look at the new story card. Matthias said that before. We are going to call it story card from now on, because we want to shift the focus from the pure data entry form, to a more holistic view on what's relevant for a story. That's why we will call it story card. Let's have a closer look at it. So you can see there that the basic structure remains the same. So we have three main boxes. First of all, what's the story about? What's then, what needs to be done? The second box, and then the third box is about the platforms. And it's the same structure as we have also with the old story card. So this is what remains the same. But of course, there are also differences, otherwise we wouldn't redesign it. So the main goal of the redesign is to make it more clear, more structured, and this we want to achieve with a more compact design. You can see the direct comparison here. On the left-hand side, you can see the old story card, nothing new, but the new part is on the right side, and you can see that for the same number of platforms and the same number of tasks, the old story card, it feels very cluttered. It's like almost not fitting on one page, and on the right-hand side, on the new story card, there's way more space left. So you can add further platforms, further tasks, and can still see it on one page. So this is the great advantage we want to achieve with a new story card. How are we... no, something else first. I wanted to skip that, but no, this is an important one as well. So despite of having a more clear look and like a more organized story card, we also want to make some links more visible. And the greatest improvement from my perspective is that we have a better visibility of the task platform relationship. So on the lower box shows what's been there already, so you can see on platform level what tasks are linked. But you can't see it on task level yet. So you always would have to go to the platform level. But with a new story card, you can see the link on the task side already. So you can see there what tasks are linked to what platform, and you can also directly edit it there. So this is great improvement on that side. This is what I had in mind beforehand. So this is how an empty story card looks like. So the goal here is to have a very clear first sight. So when you first enter it, we kind of try to hide the complexity that's there. So it's supposed to look simple, although it's not. But we only show or disclose the full complexity when you start entering it. So we have a second or some further features in there that kind of are supposed to support that goal. You can see in the upper box that we, or maybe you can't see it in the back, but it's about not showing empty fields. So by default, we don't show them. Of course, you can actively say, well, I want to see them, but if you don't, then it's, kind of not shown, and so the complexity is a bit reduced. And at several points, we have the option to show more or show less. Here it's just shown on story level, but it will also be possible to do the same on task and platform level. So what else is new? You might have seen that on one of the previous screenshots. On the very right-hand side, there is a new box. We call it context box. And here you can find all information that's related to that story. So you can see the update history, the map, the content, and attachment there. And the great advantage here is that you can see it all at once. So you don't have to open it in different tabs or go to another site or whatsoever, but you can see it all at a glance. And secondly, it also gives room for further improvements. I will talk about this later, but for now, let's have a look at the different options you can see there, and let's see how the context box looks in action. We'll briefly go through. So first of all, update history. The functionality is the very same as it is with the old detailed entry, but with a great difference that you can see it right there. Same for the map. So just one click away, once you enter the location on story level, you can then see the map right there. We will also implement a preview of uploaded content, but I won't go into detail right now because Katja will later on tell you more about it. And last but not least, attachments. So whenever you attach something to your story cards, to your story, you will also be able to assess it via the context box and have it right in the same, like on the same page. Well, that was the context box. You might now wonder when and how this will be implemented. So I've showed it yesterday in the workshops. The story card is already there on the demo server. Some things are missing, but the basic functionality is already there. But we still need to improve. We currently having some testers on it. So some of you guys are currently testing it to give us some feedback on what might need to be improved for better usability. And with everything that's still to be done, we will take some more 4 to 6 months to be able to start using it. We will start with parallel usage, so you can use the new one in parallel to the old one, because although we try to make the transition as easy as possible with keeping the main structure, we know that it will take some time to get used to it. So you can use it in parallel, and there will also be the option to provide feedback even there. So this will help us a lot to refine it further until we move to a full transition. And we're not going to stop there. So the road continues, and we already have lined up some new improvements. And we will quickly go through right now. So first of all, we will talk about auto-refresh, story groups, and also AI-supported data extraction. So let's go through step by step. Well, the auto-refresh thingy is something, I mean, we have been talking about this earlier, or we have heard about this earlier today. Whenever you have more than one person working on the story and they keep it open for a while, and then someone saves earlier than the others, there we have data conflicts, and users get frustrated a lot. So we are well aware of this pain point, and we have addressed it in the past on other pages, like the story card and task page. When we redesigned them, we made them in a way that you can directly, I mean, you know them. You can work on the different fields at the same time, and you don't have that many overrides. And we plan to do the same for the story card, but since it will still take some time until it's there, we have something for the time in between, and we are about to release something we call interim save. Will be released likely next week. Not likely, it will be released next week. And you will then have the option to, it's about in the very bottom where you have the buttons, there will be one additional one, and you will then have the possibility to save the story card and then stay on it. So you don't have to close it and open it again to have the same effect, but you can directly save it and stay on it, and you can then, it will help reducing the data conflicts. But in the long run, we will then implement auto-refresh on the story card. Important note here, we will do it in the second version of the story card. So we first start with a normal one, and then in the second version we will have this. And since we know that we need to be careful about the impact it has on integrations and notifications for users, we will implement it in a way that you first, when you enter a story card, you need to fill everything in, click save once, and then after then auto-refresh takes effect, and then you can work on different fields in parallel, but you will first have to save it once. Okay, I think that's it. About auto-refresh, second topic we want to work on is the parent-child relationship. So you will be able to group together stories. And well, how will it work? Imagine you have a story already entered, and you enter, you go to the context box, which we will then extend to also have the story group there, and you can see what stories have already been linked to that story you're currently working on. You can have a link on the same level, on the parent level, or on the child level. And you can also see a search bar up there, so you can also then directly search for other stories and decide whether to link them or, well, realize that it's a redundant story. But when it comes to redundant stories, we also had that before, you actually need that information early in the writing process, right? So you want to know about it before you actually start writing. So that's why we will also have the possibility to, or we will provide the data once you enter or write something in the description field. We will then, something will pop up telling you, well, someone else wanted to write something about weather, and then, you won't write about it yourself, and we can save some time and don't have duplicates. Third thing we want to improve or we want to work on is the AI-supported data extraction. So we have one case, there might be some, but one of the cases where we have enough data for attaching AI to the product is when we have an email that's attached, added as an attachment to a story. So you can see it in the context box again, as we had before, but you can see now here that we have another button that you can then press. Just show you the demo. So you click on it, and well, it loads, and then it gives you data it's taking from that email that has been attached. In this case, then you decide, well, I want to insert the location fields, location data, and then it's getting inserted into your story card. You could also decide, well, interesting, but I want to have a summary, for instance, down there to be inserted, and then you click on it, and it would be transferred to your story card. So this is something that we do want to implement. To be honest, we it has been designed before thinking about Ximio and Kordiam, Ximio and Skimmer, sorry. And well, we do want to do this. This is given, and we also tested this with client data, and it worked pretty well. But yeah, now it's still to be decided how it will be implemented and where. Well, I talked a lot about the story card. Let's have a look at the other side of the equation. So what to do with the reporters, how to help them to make data entry easier. And what we will do here is to, it has been said before, we're working on story templates. So there are two main characteristics about them. On the one hand side, they're supposed to be as minimalistic as possible. So to make it as easy as possible for the reporters and other content creators to enter their content. And secondly, they are group specific. So you can tailor them to the needs of your specific group and then create as many templates as you need and share them among the groups. I brought two examples. First one is a very extreme, it's a very short one, maybe a bit extreme. So in this case, people would just be asked to enter a description and a user need, save, and go on. So yeah, it's a bit drastically, but it shows how drastically the complexity can be decreased if it's needed and wanted. In a second example, you can it's a bit longer. You can see that in this case, if you want someone to enter this template, a few more fields should be entered. You can also see that the description field, I don't know whether you can see it in the back, but there's a little asterisk. So the description field in this case is a mandatory field, so it needs to be filled before you can save it. And a photo task is preset, so whenever someone has this template to be has to be filled, everyone knows we need a photo for that. And like this, you can define any template. It's very highly customizable, and there are basically three things you need to consider when you set up such a template, or three decisions to take. So first, you have to choose the fields that you want to show. Second, you need to think of which fields are mandatory. And third, you have to think of whether there's anything preset, any default values, any default tasks that you want to add. And respectively, we have three goals related to the questions. So we want to make it as easy as possible, hide as much complexity as possible. Critical data should be entered. That relates to what I said in the very beginning, that it's important to enter all critical data, so will be easier for you to handle the downstream workflows. And we want to speed up repetitive data entry, so only do what's necessary. Well, we heard this morning that it's best, or that reporters don't have time for training, so it's best to tell them in a video of one minute. I guess you will be able to explain that in 1 minute what they're supposed to do. Well, I'm already at the end of my presentation, and I'm coming back to the question I initially raised about, is it actually a good thing or bad thing about the complexity? And well, not very surprisingly, there's no good or bad or right or wrong, but it's rather a way to manage it wisely. And our task is to kind of embrace the complexity where it's needed, but also hide it when it's not needed. And that's what we try to do with the two improvements I just shared with you. Thanks, and looking forward to your feedback.
Thank you very much, Maike Froning, and let's have a look around whether there are any questions from the audience on the right-hand side, from you on the left-hand side.
Thank you for the presentation. With the templates, is it possible to set up certain relations between fields? Like, for example, if I pick one of our print channels, you can only pick these categories from the tree. Or is it still the whole tree I get then offered? Just as an example with the categories.
To be honest, I haven't been involved in such a thought. Matthias, maybe you can add whether this is planned or not.
Currently, such dependencies are not planned. What you can do is you can already, as part of the template, say, this is a template that always goes into digital sports, tennis, right? And then it's predefined, and the reporter doesn't even see it. He knows this is a tennis template, tennis story template, and in the back, it assigns it to the tennis page, and he cannot even change it.
the second row. Wait a moment, please, for our recording. Thank you very much.
You said that templates are based on the group. Is it possible to have for one group more templates? So,
Yeah.
So we are using the T-shirt sizes with the text task, yeah, and we need for XL story more than for a small story. So is it possible?
You can define any number of templates, and like one template, or you can have like one group can have several templates. Yeah. It's not like one relationship, but you can have any group can have any number of templates. That's possible.
Thank you.
Right. Any more questions so far? You're, of course, invited to ask them. Yeah, one in the second row, the microphone is coming up.
Will it be possible to deactivate create new stories without template for a specific group?
Haven't thought of it yet, but actually would be a good way to kind of avoid that it's like the wanted workflow is not followed. So something we could think of, I would say. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that idea.
All right. Any more questions? Yeah. Yes.
Template is great idea, and I can see that there is going to be hundreds of them in Viali. So is it possible to do the favor marking in there or hide some templates from groups or?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we will have to find a way to make it easier for people to find the right template. So you will have also like a search bar, so where you can find your template if you have many, and you will have also like the star to have like a mark, like a favorite one. Yeah.
Thank you. And any more questions? Yeah, another one on that side.
Just came to me with the comment here, will it be possible, not maybe in the first iteration, to put custom validation behind fields depending on the group or other selected values? Like, for example, in one of our print issues, we only have pages of like 0.5 and 0.75 length, page length, for example, right? You only have certain options to pick for page length. Is such custom validation planned or part of the release maybe already?
100% sure I got that question. Maybe, Matthias, if you have an answer, maybe you can share it.
To be honest, for the moment, it's not planned. But one of you from the Netherlands, we had a really nice chat last night about MCP. You know, and the idea was, can we use MCP is like a new kind of way to connect, kind of like a new interface, like an API or so. This is oversimplified, I know. It's a new way of entering stuff or sending data from LLMs to whatever system. And the idea was, can't we maybe use MCP to allow the reporters to talk to Kordiam and enter the data? I could imagine in such a case, when you have in between Kordiam and the reporter, you have some LLM or so, that maybe the LLM does the validation of data and tells you, hey, I need, you know, you're saying this should be 2 pages, but I, as an LLM, know that it should be just 0.75 pages. Maybe. But to come back to your original question, no, for the moment, these kind of validation rules are not planned.